Hello and welcome. Today, I want to give you a few recommendations if you're looking to get into manga. There are a lot out there, and it can sometimes be overwhelming. There are many great options, but if you ask the wrong people, they'll give you stuff with, I don't know, you'll wind up with Spice and Wolf on your bookshelf and not quite know what it's about, and then someone will comment on it, and then you realize it's actually whoops. Uh, but if you take these recommendations, I guarantee they're all just nice, gentle, sort of run of the mill, absolutely nothing sort of that'll inspire looming senses of dread. The first is Hat Attelier. And this is a fun magical adventure where a lady is whisked off from her home after learning how to cast magic in this world where magic is cast through runes, and she accidentally casts a forbidden spell and kills her mom. But she goes with the witch who she learned how to cast magic from, because she actually was spying on him, and that's how she learned. And he whisks her off because she has to have her mind wiped by the sort of super scions. But then the guy's like, oh, nope, actually, I'll teach her magic myself. And it's nice and wholesome after that because it's about like found family. There's a section in there that really I enjoyed talking about how some people encounter disabilities in that world through like visual impairments, and then methods of overcoming those visual impairments for the sort of blight they were facing to assist in their craft, because they were, I think, potion makers or ink makers or something along those lines. And they had trouble identifying what color the ingredients were when they were ground up. But if they had a picture of what it was, anyway. It's a fun little story, and it has a lot of things in it that sort of are heartwarming and just nice, fun, easy day. Don't forget you have to read it backwards because it's a manga, not a comic. And if you even look like you're starting to read it forward, honestly, a buddy of mine, walked up to me while I'm in the comic store, okay? And I'm looking at this manga and I'm just kind of like flipping through and stuff. And he grabs it out of my hand and goes, Chloe, you're supposed to start from the back of the book. And I don't know, I can't go back to that comic store anymore. So that's been fun. Moving on to the second book recommendation, I think Free Ren Beyond Journey's End is honestly one of the best manga I've ever read. I'm fully current on it, but to give you the rundown on what it's about, Himmel and the party of heroes, which includes Free Ren the mage, defeat the Demon King. And there are many moons that pass afterwards, and Himmel the hero passes, and Free Ren begins to cry, and she vows that she will start to learn about humans to try and understand how, in such a short period of her life, because as an elf she's not immortal but long-lived, to the point where time is practically nothing. There are blinks in her eye. But she wants to discover why it meant so much to her. And so she sets out on an adventure to retrace her steps with the party of heroes 80 years ago. And it's really good because it interweaves flashbacks of her when she's with the party of heroes, as well as other times in people's lives, to be able to create these full backgrounds as scenes are playing out. So you're constantly experiencing fun, like, momentum throughout the story of progression, while hearing the distant echoes of many moons prior, because the legend of the party of the heroes is still strong in some areas. But even in some areas where, like, word changes over time and small things become bigger things or exaggerated to certain extents, it's a fun exploration of the ideas of how things change over time, and yet at the same time, how those things can still hold meaning in memory, and why it's important to kind of understand people. So as Free Ren goes throughout her journey, she takes on an apprentice and picks up a warrior, and it's wonderful story. Big recommendation. And the final recommendation I have is for Battle Angel Alita. Now, I'm a big fan of the movie. The movie only covers maybe like the first book out of it, so I won't get into any spoilers. But we all know Hugo was the weakest part of the movie, so we'll go ahead and say the first book, thank God, it deals with that and gets him out of the way, so that Alita can go on to have her journey of sort of like self-becoming. Because throughout the journey of Alita Battle Angel, she like is striving to get back up to Zalem, and then I feel like the movie at the end, it felt like it just cut out so much, and it did. It cut out the entire motorball sequence of her going on and challenging Jashugun, and like there. If you like the movie, the manga is really good, and it takes the story and continues it onward to talk about what happens to the people in Zalem and why Dr. Ito isn't a citizen of Zalem anymore, as well as sort of like what it means to be a free-willed person versus what it means to be a computer. There are a lot of sort of, I guess, dystopian elements because it takes place 200 years in the future, but the art style of Panzerkunst having been lost and then restored through Alita's memories, and then having that Desti Nova archenemy and having that storyline and arc makes it so that the big picture is way bigger than something Alita is going to be able to accomplish on her own, because she was trying to accomplish it with the military many years ago, and then by the time she gets there, who even knows if that's what she's after anymore? Is she after the answers of the distant past, or is she after her own answers now of what she wants? And I don't know. If you get the opportunity to check out Battle Angel Alita, I'd highly recommend it. Well, I'd recommend all of them in here. So to recap, we got Witch Hat Attelier, Free Ren Beyond Journey's End, and Battle Angel Alita. And if you read those three, they're all mostly normal. So you don't have to worry, like when you go to work, about people looking at you weird, and you can actually be like, oh yeah, this is just like regular comics, not like what, I swear, some of the computer people I've worked with in the past, it's all good. But it's, I just thought I'd give some recommendations for people who don't necessarily look for that stuff in their story times. And thank you so much for joining me. I guess we'll wrap it up right there. I don't have much more to say to you, but I appreciate your support, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Love you. Bye.